All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are live. Welcome to PWP Roundtable. I'm your host, Aaron. With me, I have Razman's Reality and Oliver Norgrove making his amazing return to PWP. I don't know, I didn't even realize he was gone, but I guess he's returned. So um, let's
Yeah, I've been gone for
let's kind
six
of
years.
outline what we're going to be doing tonight. Yeah, well, yeah,
Uh,
that'd be yeah.
yeah,
Um,
I'm doing alright.
let's
How about
outline
you?
let's outline what we're going to be doing tonight. We're just going to be doing the Hell in a Cell predictions. Please excuse the delay. The delay is pretty epic on this Google Hangout. I don't know what the deal is. Just kind of excuse us, and hopefully you can stick with us for the duration because the delay is pretty serious here. Um, let's introduce everybody first. Oliver, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. Been real kind of really busy recently, like university and the job, my new job and stuff like that. So I haven't been able to get as much stuff done on the site as I would have wanted to, but I was very kind of busy over the summer with that. So I'm kind of looking forward to getting back into things. And yeah, but apart from that, I'm doing alright. What about you two, Raz?
Well, good news and bad news. Good news is that you're going to be seeing my face a lot more here, and the YouTube channel is going to be a
What's
lot
the good
more.
news? What's the good news?
No, well, that I was getting ready to say that the YouTube channel is going to have a lot more stuff on it, but the reason is because I currently can't write at the moment. My voice recognition software is not working on my current system. I hope to have a new system by no later than Christmas, but yeah, unfortunately there'll be no written word from me for a while, so hopefully everybody doesn't get sick of my voice so I can still contribute to the site. But yeah, other than
Yeah.
that, I'm good. Started the RMR podcast back up on a new affiliate called Epic Gamer Radio, so I'll plug that at the end of the show. But yeah, I'm good. Aaron,
Okay.
how are you?
All right, awesome. Let's begin the predictions. Let's start with the first match that we'll talk about here. The Big Show versus Rusev, a match that's kind of been slowly built up the last couple months, or maybe just the last couple months, or just the last month in general. Um, let's go to Oliver first. Your thoughts on this feud so far, and who comes out the victor at Hell in a Cell?
I don't like this feud. I've been bored of it for a while, and I'm kind of siding with Raz now a little bit. I'm not blaming Rusev for it, but I mean, I'm finding the whole, sticking somebody big and strong against Rusev is not interesting for me at the moment. It's kind of done now. I think Mark Henry Rusev feud, it was fine for what it was. I don't think there's really a need to throw a Big Show in as well now, just because he's supposed to represent something. He's a veteran or something. He's going to give Rusev a big rub. I don't think that's the case at all. I don't think anybody thinks Big Show is going to win. So I'm kind of bored of the storyline myself. I think Rusev has a his kind of sell by date, his use by date is coming up soon. I think he'll be done after a year. And I just yeah, I'm just not interested in this. But I think definitely Rusev is winning a Hell in a Cell.
Red, what do you?
Well, everything always said is the truth, and it's because of how they book him. I mean, until he loses a match, he's not going to be relevant. You can't make a guy relevant if every time he comes out, you know what's going to happen with him. I've said it over and over and over again, writing, videos, everywhere that I taught professional wrestling here, Smart Out Moment, everywhere. Rusev has got to lose to Big Show. So I'm hoping Big Show's going to win, and I'm going to say Big Show's going to win, but am I going to be surprised if he doesn't and Rusev does? No. That's my
Why
thoughts.
does Big Show have to beat Rusev? I don't understand.
Big Show has to beat Rusev because Rusev can't keep winning. The
Yeah, he
reason
can
that,
because he's kind of the new thing. I'm bored of the storyline. I just don't think Big Show needs to win because Big Show's kind of past it now.
okay, but it's past the time for Rusev to lose. Until you get an actual feud with the guy where you actually believe that he's human, other than those 2 seconds where The Rock punched him, it's not going to be entertaining. you can't get invested in anything he does because you know he's gonna win every time. It's been 6 months already. Like, this isn't Goldberg over and over again. I mean, enough is
Yeah.
enough. That's honest. That's
Well,
just my opinion, though. You know.
I do agree in a sense that he needs to lose just so he can develop a main event feud or a feud that matters in some way. Um, but I don't know if Big Show's the person to beat him.
Yeah.
I mean, hopefully he loses some before WrestleMania. I don't want him going into WrestleMania his undefeated streak intact. I'd prefer him to have a feud with whoever he's going to feud with, Cena, whether it's Cena, whether it's Ziggler, whether whoever it is. I'd prefer him finally get a loss along the way than have him go into WrestleMania with the streak. But as for this match, I think it's going to be a boring match. I think we'll get 8 minutes out of it. I think it's going to be very slow. It's going to be similar to the Mark Henry thing. I think we can all kind of see how it's going to end. It's Rusev finally gets him the accolade, and Show's either going to tap out after being in it for so long, or he's just going to pass out and not tap out. But Rusev will still win. So it's become predictable with Rusev's stuff. Become predictable with his feuds. And I think, and me and Raz talked about it with The Rock last Roundtable 2 weeks ago. I think having The Rock come back was just a little small victory for the fans. Rusev always winning, always coming out on top. To have The Rock come back, give us a little victory in a sense to kind of, I guess, make us care more about Rusev. I don't know what that was. We kind of talked about that, but I'm going to go with Rusev. I think he's got to win this match because of just I don't think his first loss should be against the Big Show. I think it should be against somebody legitimate. Big Show's kind of been stale the last couple of years, and I don't know if he is if you know what I mean.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I mean, for me, I don't think Big Show's the right man for it, and the match is gonna. I mean, nobody's looking forward to the match. The match is gonna suck. Let's be honest. Nobody's really gonna be looking forward to that match. To me.
It's gonna suck, but if that happens every time that you get two big men against each other, big men should not work together. It should be a big guy against a smaller guy or a medium-sized guy, so that you have more of the athleticism. And then when the big guy does things, like, to Rusev's credit, he's pretty athletic for a big guy. When he does things like throw a drop kick, it has so much more impact than Big Show trying to clumsily sell it, or Mark Henry trying to clumsily sell it. You know what I mean?
Well,
I just
by Rusev as a big guy or a big man because he's more athletic than the smaller guys on the roster. I remember when I was at WrestleMania 29, it was I think the card order went it was the Shield versus Orton, Sheamus, and Big Show, which that match really lit up WrestleMania. It really got everyone out of their seats and got the energy going as far as just the flow of the show. And then once Ryback and Mark Henry came out, oh my God, that completely killed the crowd. I mean, the crowd went silent for 10, 15 minutes because the match was just so boring. It was just these two big guys trying to knock each other down, and it was, and I'm not completely against big guy feuds or big men going at going one-on-one, but I think it just needs to be done a little smarter, and hopefully decent as far as just these two going at each other.
As far as storytelling goes, you can kind of understand why big men go one-on-one. Historically, it's been something fans have been interested in, even though they don't produce the best matches. It's still something worth. It's a story. It's an age-old story. Big man versus big man. See who's the kind of the business isn't big enough for the both of them type kind of scenario, and it's kind of age-old. It's been done quite a few times. It's very kind of tried and tested. So, but yeah, you're right. The matches are never really good as a result.
Yeah, I understand that. That's always been the big thing where you have these two giants go at each other. But in this time of wrestling, fans get so bored so quickly, and people are used the high speed, high intensity matches now that two big guys clumbering around the ring together just doesn't appeal to anybody anymore. And I don't know if it ever will again, which is something to talk about for a different day. Let's move on to Sheamus versus The Miz. The U.S. title is on the line. Of course, Damien Mizdow will be ringside with The Miz. Let's go to you, Raz, first. Your thoughts on this match, and what do you see happen with Sheamus and The Miz?
Honestly, I've said it before, and it just sounds like I'm a broken record all the time, but I don't understand why there's a United States at this point. And I really, really don't understand it. That the two mid-card titles need to get merged, and it's nothing against Sheamus, and it's nothing against The Miz. Well, it's a little bit something against The Miz, because The Miz is so been there, done that. I mean, the only thing good about The Miz right now is Damien Mizdow, because he's a better Miz than The Miz. But, it's nothing against Sheamus. It's hard for me to get invested in this feud. I think it should have been a triple threat for the IC title, and the title should have been merged. But as far as who's going to win the match, Sheamus should win it. But it would be kind of cool to see The Miz win it, and then Mizdow break loose and say, I'm tired of carrying your rear end, and then actually take this entertainment into his own character and beat him for the title. And then have Sandow, and the IC champ go at it. That would be kind of cool. But other than that, I'm saying Sheamus won.
Yeah, it's again a very similar point to Raz. I don't understand the kind of existence of the US title on its own now, because it's been done. There's nothing new, and there's nothing interesting from it now. The only thing is that out of the two, I think Sheamus is the worst. I don't think The Miz has been kind of entertaining since. I mean, it's not really The Miz; it's more Sandow. I think Sandow's the best thing going at the moment. I really do. I think he's just hilarious. But I think personally, I hope that The Miz will win Hell in a Cell. He's my prediction to win, and I think eventually they'll lead to a feud between The Miz and Mizdow. I think that would be very kind of entertaining eventually. So for me, Sheamus, there's no point. He's been and done now. There's no point to him. He won't be interesting again, I don't think. And the title either needs to be merged with the Intercontinental Championship or needs to be scrapped completely. Really, the only person really for me, if they are going to keep it, the only person that can really begin to kind of regain interest and help generate interest in it is probably Mizdow at this point. I don't see anybody else being able to do it.
That's a good point. I think this match will be kind of underrated because these two guys are looked at as kind of terrible workers, or they're boring or whatever. I think they'll be able to put on a good show, but I think Mizdow will take away a little bit from this match, and it's not a knock on him or the gimmick or anything like that, but I've noticed, he's been mimicking Miz in the ring on the outside and kind of doing the same moves he's been doing as he's doing them. So I understand that it's funny and everything like that, but it almost gives me a sense that they're kind of taking away from what's going on in the ring, and maybe that's the people in the ring, Sheamus's and Miz's problem, that they're not able to keep the attention of the fans, and Mizdow is kind of taking that attention away from them. But I think this has a chance to be an underrated match of the night kind of thing, because I think, and this is my personal view, but I think Miz and Sheamus are two of the best workers on the roster as far as being able to just put on solid matches. It's never terrible. It's always somewhere in the middle, which is kind of good. It shows that they're both consistent, being able to put on solid matches. I just hope they don't do something they did with Ziggler and have these two titles every pay-per-view. Have Miz win at Hell in a Cell, then have Sheamus win it back at Survivor Series, then back at TLC. I just hope they don't do something like that, similar to the Intercontinental Championship earlier in the year. Um, but I'm gonna go with Sheamus. I think Sheamus, and I think WWE has um, just something about Sheamus that they like. I think, recently I think somebody posted in our group, the PWP group, that Sheamus is one of the 10 merchandise sellers at live events. He sells merchandise, and I think that WWE likes to keep him relevant just because he sells merch, and I think that's something that they have. And I think keeping the U.S. title on him is a way of doing that. So I'm gonna go with Sheamus winning this match.
Well,
Um,
anybody buying
let's move
Sheamus,
on to a match. Go ahead.
anybody buying Sheamus merchandise needs to reevaluate their life somewhat.
Well, I actually kind of like some of his shirts. Um, but I always like Sheamus for some reason. I think he's a solid worker. I think he's a little underrated as far as being able to be a main event talent. I mean, I've always liked Sheamus. What do your guys thoughts on Sheamus? I know Oliver, you don't like him because you've made some jokes about him. I remember the joke you made about when I broke my hand, that you said it's so sad that someone like Aaron breaks his hand, but somebody like Sheamus stays healthy.
Oh yeah, that was a personal favourite. Yeah, I don't like Sheamus at all. What about you, Raz?
You know what? He's not a bad worker. He's actually, for what he's given, he's really entertaining. But the problem with it is that he's another guy. He reminds me of Orton because he has the Orton syndrome. They pushed him so high, so soon, that now everything else he does is kind of anticlimactic unless he's going to be WWE World Heavyweight Champion, and he's not going to be WWE World Heavyweight Champion over a guy like Ambrose, a guy like Rollins, that are the future stock of the company right now. Cesaro, hopefully. So, Sheamus is just kind of stuck. He's a great worker, but he's got nothing to show for it. Unless they turn him into like the Chris Jericho kind of guy, where every time the next big thing comes up, Sheamus is the guy. Sorry, I gotta pick a lump in my throat here all of a sudden. Sorry. But unless, Sheamus gets to put guys over all the time and he just gets to go out there and do his work, But at the same time, it's like you can only do that for so long until people get bored with it. And as much as I love Jericho, that's why people have criticized Jericho lately. Because they know what he's going to do every time he comes in. And he's not working with a guy that's on his level. So, yeah, I think Sheamus is he's a great worker. He's just a guy that's stuck right now. That's my opinion on him.
Yeah, I can kind of see that. I understand that. Led to a match that really had. If you're spoiler sensitive, please, I guess, pause or fast forward. Cesaro versus Dolph Ziggler for the Intercontinental Championship, a 2-out match. Now, my understanding of a 2 out of 3 falls match usually comes at the end of a feud that's been going on for a little while. I don't understand the purpose of a 2 out of 3 falls match with Cesaro and Ziggler. I'm all for it. I mean, I think that this match might steal the show as far as the bell action. If you guys have seen, I'm assuming you have, the Cesaro versus Sami Zayn match in NXT, the 2 out of 3 falls match, which has been kind of talked about as being a match of the year contender. I think this match can steal the show. As far as a winner, I'm going to have to go with Dolph Ziggler. I don't see why they have Cesaro beat Ziggler in this scenario. I mean, I don't really understand why he would beat Ziggler in this scenario because, Ziggler's the IC champ. I just don't see a purpose for having Cesaro win the IC title. I don't know where he goes from there. What's the purpose of him even holding that title? Whereas I think Ziggler needs it more than Cesaro. Let's go to you, Raz. Your thoughts on Ziggler versus Cesaro and who wins?
Well, I think this is the first since I've been here with you and Aaron. I 100% disagree with you. Because Cesaro is the guy that needs the title in order to be relevant. Because Cesaro is the guy that's so hot that the crowd wants to get behind, and every time he loses, people have this thinking feeling in their stomach of he's never going to go anywhere. So you put the Intercontinental title on him, and you show that he's a guy that's actually going to be around and be relevant for a while. Ziggler's a guy that's hot enough that he doesn't need the strap. Ziggler's a guy that can go in and feud with a Rollins before Rollins gets the title after the Ambrose feud. He's a guy that could even maybe go in there with Rusev and make it entertaining. He's over enough where he doesn't need the title. He can be a sleeper contender or maybe even a serious contender for the Money in the Bank briefcase without it. Cesaro needs the title in order to stay relevant. That being said, Ziggler will win this match because the fans, unfortunately, are the only ones that are seeing Cesaro as a true player right now. Management is not. And as long as that's the case, Cesaro won't win anything. So, Ziggler will win the match, and it will be the second best match of the night, if not the first best match. But with Ambrose and Rollins on the card, it's hard to tell. So,
I just feel like I think you're spot feeling that he's ready for the main event spot yet, or even ready for a minimal push. I feel like he really exposed a lot of his true colors on commentary last week on Raw. He was god awful, man. He was just, and this goes back to the article I wrote about him not being able to talk and just not having it as far as being able to talk and charisma. And when I wrote that, everyone was like, "Oh, what are you talking about?" Cesaro speaks 5 different languages in English. I was like, "There's no way that he is fluent in English after listening to him on Raw, because he was god awful." I mean, he was so awkward. He was, Michael Cole and JBL come up to try and talk about Ziggler or the match or something along the lines of trying to be entertaining a little bit. I mean, he just really failed as far as being able to kind of boast himself up as he just got off on commentary.
well, but the thing is, and Ollie needs to chime in here. We're me and Aaron are kind of dominating things right now, so I'll shut up in a minute and let Ollie say something. But the thing is about Cesaro is that he hasn't been given the opportunity to talk consistently, and putting somebody on commentary is not the way to show your skills, because B2B commentary is such a mess because Vince is in everybody's ear all the time, and JBL is so annoying because he doesn't do anything but try to be funny the whole time. Michael Cole is the only one trying to do anything serious. That whole entire commentary team needs to be revamped. So you can't really evaluate a guy's talent level right now by what he does on commentary on Raw. I'm sorry.
That's a solid point. I understand.
Yeah. Until Cesaro has an opportunity. Oh, sorry. I was just saying, until Cesaro has an opportunity to actually talk for himself in the feud, we can't judge. Because what we've seen in ROH is contrary to what we've seen in WWE. So it's just about WWE giving him an opportunity, and then either the indie marks like me are going to be right or you're going to be right. But we don't know yet.
Well, as far as mic work goes, that's true. As far as in ring, we've seen everything from him, but that's a good thing because he's so good. But the thing is, I don't know if you two have noticed this, but Ziggler and Cesaro have had a few matches on Raw, and they've never been quite as good as people have expected. I'm expecting that to change on Sunday. I think the 2 out of 3 falls will be the best match. I'm just thinking that I agree with Aaron on the whole Ziggler winning, because the feud to me, I don't know if you two agree, the feud to me seems kind of, it was put together pretty randomly. Cesaro wasn't really, I mean, he won a battle royal and everything, I understand that, but the rivalry is random, if you like. And I just think that Cesaro winning it would be a decent surprise, but the title has been thrown around. I think it's changed on the last 3 or 4 pay-per-views, so it would be it would be a surprise if Cesaro won, but I'm thinking it's a Ziggler. I'm thinking that Ziggler will win because, like I said, the whole thing has been put together so randomly, and neither of the two have really impressed me at all in the last couple of months. Not that that's completely their fault though, but I expect a Cesaro victory myself personally. So I'm sorry, Ziggler.
Well, what I have to say about that is you're 100% right about, the feud being random and the rivalry not making sense, but it's WWE's attempt to try and keep Cesaro relevant. But again, I go back to, can Cesaro remain relevant unless he gets a push? Which I don't think he can. So, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, and where does he really fit in as far as like if they were to push him, where would he really fit in? I don't really see where he'd go. I mean, maybe you make him a part of the authority. Maybe um, maybe you turn him babyface. I don't know because I don't see where he would fit in, even if they did push him. Everyone's saying, "Let's push Cesaro. Let's push Cesaro." Where does he go if they do push him?
If it were me, if you're asking me to be
Yeah.
the Booker, it just, for me, he has to be face. Because the Cesaro swing is a face move. The crowd wants to cheer him. Let him be a face and let him go up against, young heels and see where that goes. And let him try to carry the Intercontinental title and make it the title, kind of like what Ziggler's doing. I give him credit. Since he's won the title, it's gone back to that. But the Intercontinental title is the workhorse title in WWE. It's not the entertainer talker title. It's the guy that's going to go out there week after week after week and put on amazing matches. And Cesaro fits that mold. So let him carry that title for a while and see if he has the ability to make other guys look as good in the ring as he can. That's how you keep him relevant. If he can't do that, if you give him that opportunity and in 3 or 4 months things suck with the Intercontinental title, then you're right about Cesaro and I'm wrong and everybody else that loves him is wrong. But just give him an opportunity to do something.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, I understand. I don't know where he fits in, like as far as if they were to push him. Um, let's go now to versus One Stone here. Paige versus AJ Lee. The Divas title is on the line. Oliver, let's go to you since you've been out of it for a little bit. Paige, AJ Lee, who wins and why?
Uh, I actually don't know with this one. I'm gonna go with Paige. I don't know why. This one's just a guess completely. Because these two have been feuding for about 3 years now, and the title has changed hands so many times back and forth well, it feels like 3 years. And yeah. Anyway, I'm disappointed with the fact. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
No, I was just saying I'm disappointed with the fact that they weren't put inside Hell in a Cell. I think they could have they missed the ball. They could have done that. It would have been something surprising. It would have been something different. Just have another normal match. I mean, it's already been done. They've already done it. So the 3-year feud will continue, and I have no idea who's going to win myself. I'm kind of bored of it now. Raz?
Brad, go ahead.
Well, honestly, Oliver took all the words out of my mouth except for it hasn't quite been 3 years. But, that Paige is the one that needs the strap right now. So Paige should win it. But you have the 2 best workers in your division. You have a chance to show that women can actually wrestle. So when girls like Charlotte are ready, and yes, Aaron, I'm saying you were right begrudgingly about that. But when girls like Charlotte are ready, when girls like Bailey are ready, Sasha's ready, a lot of these girls in NXT come up and they're actually wrestlers that can go in the ring, it's not, a drop-off. It reminds fans once again that girls don't have to be a pretty face. That's what this feud should have been But instead of that, they've turned Paige into a joke pretty much because she's just, following around AJ like a lipstick puppy, and now she's angry because AJ doesn't love her. And it's like, just put the strap on AJ, or Paige, sorry. Let Paige be the anti-diva. Let some of these other girls, when they're ready, come up and change the Divas division, make it relevant. But there's no reason for AJ to have the strap now because she's proven how good she is, and she's one of those girls that can put over another girl without the strap. But the thing is, Paige is the only one on her level right now on the main roster. So, what does she do after she loses the title? I don't know, but Paige needs it more than her.
Yeah, I think AJ and Paige have really disappointing feud. I mean, I remember when before Paige even made the main roster, a lot of people were saying this was going to be a feud that revises or revitalizes the Divas division, and that's been far from the fact. I mean, this feud has really kind of fallen flat. And why is because they and when people say, oh, well, wait until Charlotte comes up and Bailey and Sasha and wait until these and Becky Lynch, wait until these girls come up from NXT and it's going to be great again. I don't believe that because in NXT they have a different and I hate to kind of praise my guy here, but in NXT they have a different appreciation for wrestlers. In NXT the focus is on the wrestling and the storyline comes second. Or even they go hand in hand. With WWE, storyline is number one with the divas, and there's no wrestling they almost say that you shouldn't even care about the wrestling. You should only care about the storyline. And I think Alicia Fox to this dynamic has been just weird. I mean, I don't really understand why Paige is all of a sudden friends with Alicia Fox, and they're kind of making Paige into this crazy girl, similar to Alicia, similar to AJ. I don't understand why they can't just have these two women hate each other and just have a solid 15-minute match similar to NXT, what they're doing with Bailey and Charlotte. I mean, Bailey and Charlotte in NXT have been phenomenal. That feud phenomenal. So,
and it's done a wonderful job too of turning Charlotte face. Letting her show more of herself. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's whenever people say wait until these girls come up and the Divas division will be great. I don't buy that because I don't think WWE management, the people that run Raw, Vince, care enough about that. I don't think they care enough about the Divas division to do that. And I think NXT with Hunter.
Sorry, it's just I didn't mean to jump on you there. But what it'll show is just how much Triple H does have control and how much say Vince is or is not giving him. Because when these girls come up, they have to be able to do what they're doing in NXT. Otherwise, there's no point in having them on the roster. So if they're not allowed to do that, then Vince still has a stranglehold on everything and nothing will change. I'm hopeful that won't be the case, but again, like Ollie said, and like I've said before, it's a missed opportunity to not have this match inside Hell in the Cell so that it can be something solely unique. It can be focused on the wrestling on the main roster and make way in people's minds for the changeover with some of these NXT divas coming up. Because what you said is accurate, but it's only because no one believes that it can actually happen. If you had let AJ Lee inside Hell in the Cell and put on a match like that, then people's opinions would change. And they would start to think, oh, well, maybe Charlotte does have a chance. Maybe Bailey does have a chance. Maybe Sasha does have a chance. Maybe Becky Lynch does have a chance. Because they let Paige and AJ do this. But they're not going to do that. So it's just a 22 situation.
Do you two like AJ?
It's so funny that... Do I like AJ?
Yeah.
I've always liked her storyline and her, I guess, character, but I never thought that she was this amazing worker. And when I said that once on like Facebook, I got like death threats because everyone thinks this goddess that is the queen. Like, you know, to be honest, she's not that good in the ring. I mean, I hate to be blunt and honest, but she's her selling ability is very poor. I mean, if you watch her sell a move, it's just awful, man. She like slowly falls on the like when she gets hit with a clothesline, she like slowly falls. It's just I don't know, her selling ability. I think Paige is far and above better as far as it goes. Um, and it's I was about to say, you know, the discrepancy between the divas on the main roster and NXT is miles apart. I mean, the NXT product with the divas and what they're doing is so much better than what the main roster is doing, and I think that just goes to attribute the NXT storylines and the writers for NXT and the creative team for NXT, and I just feel like hopefully when they make the main roster those women roster, I hope they can get some kind of, I guess, salvation up there because it'll be tough to on NXT. As for this match, AJ Lee, I think she retained. I don't know where they go with this feud going down the road. I don't know what they do um, with this feud in general, even the Divas division in general, and of course Paige joining the Divas cast now definitely changes um, as far as, you know, apparently there's a rumor going around that Vince doesn't want any Total Divas having the Divas title, which I think is a you know that rumor's been thrown around. Stephanie McMahon denied it recently, but I believe that rumor, and I'm going to go with AJ Lee winning this match. Let's move on to Nikki versus Brie Bella, sister versus sister. Apparently, the stipulation for this match is if the loser has to be the whip or serve it for 30 days. I mean, like, talk about just awful stipulations. Like, this might be the worst stipulation of all time. I mean, it just sounds awful. Raz, let's go to you first. Your thoughts on this?
Well, you know, I'm beating a dead horse with this whole Bella Twins thing. Neither one of them are ready. This was the most ridiculous idea for a feud that anybody ever had, and the stipulation just makes it worse. And when you throw out a stipulation like that, in my opinion, it kind of gives it away. Nikki Bella is going to win this match because what logical reason would it have to be for the face to make the heel suffer? It's the heel's job to make the face suffer. So Nikki Bella, who's the worst of the two terrible Bellas, is going to win this match, in my opinion. But yeah, I hope to God this is only like maybe max 10 minutes long, because it's definitely going to be something that's hard to stomach. For sure.
Yeah. Oliver, let's go to you.
I have to say, with regards to the Bellas, like this feud needs closing and soon, and the stipulation that you both said, I agree, is just horrible. It's one of the worst stipulations I've seen in a long time. The stipulation is the loser is the winner's PA for a month, yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Yep.
awful. That's awful. I mean, just think. I mean, forgetting the winner for a second. If you forget that, how are they gonna how are they gonna make a PA be interesting? I mean, it's with the Bellas. I mean, how only Mizdow could make a PA interesting at this point. How are they gonna? I mean, I don't understand what that entails. I don't understand what they're gonna do with that personally. And the stipulation is horrible. Although, I mean, looking forward to the rivalry ending because I'm sure the match won't be too bad. I don't think the Bellas are bad workers. I really don't. They're not thoroughly entertaining, but I don't think they're bad workers. And I think the match will be. I think they put on a decent match, but the stipulation is just horrible.
They're not bad workers, they're just not great workers, and they definitely can't talk. That's their biggest problem, they can't talk.
I actually think Nikki is
I
improving.
think I'm more with Oliver. I think the match will be okay. I think the match between the two will be decent. I think Nikki has gotten far better than what she used to be. And Rhea has kind of grown as a talent slowly, and she's become one of the best wrestlers on the main roster, which isn't saying much. But I think the match itself, but I think it's clear cut that Nikki's gonna win. Like you said, Raz, there's no point of having Nikki be Bree's personal assistant. You wouldn't have the heel be in distress for a month. You'd have the babyface eventually, breaking off and or doing something that tired or whatever. I just hate that we're gonna have. That's the big revelation here is that we're gonna see this every week on Raw, where Nikki's gonna be tagging Brio, get me this, get me that, and it's just gonna be annoying. I think that's the perfect word to attach to this feud. Is it's just been really annoying since Stephanie McMahon has kind of distanced herself from this feud. And it really shows that, without Stephanie, this feud really doesn't matter, and no one really cares. And, I don't know if that's because Stephanie's not involved in it, or because it's not getting enough airtime on Raw anymore, or they realize that this feud is just not worth time on Raw. I don't know where they go from here, and that feud, I really hope they don't spend it on Raw. That's my biggest thing. Um, let's move to the tag team titles: the Usos versus the Dust Brothers, Stardust and Gold. I think we all know it 100 times. We all know how I feel about Stardust and Goldust and this brother tag team. I don't like Cody Rhodes as Stardust. I never liked Cody Rhodes as Stardust. I think
Fuck
it's a waste of
you.
his talent and a waste of just. I just hate it so much. It's so terrible. It's so forced. It's so forced. He doesn't have to be this. He can just be Cody Rhodes. I don't understand why he has to be Stardust. And now Goldust has this weird freaking face paint. Goldust has this weird face paint that it makes him look like he's melting. I just hate it. I hate it so much. I hope the Usos win. I hope they take those titles off of Stardust and Goldust. I just can't stand that gimmick and that tag team.
Aaron, I don't know what's happening to you, bro. You're losing it. You're completely losing it. Because first you say that Ziggler needs the title more than Cesaro does. And now you say that Stardust isn't entertaining? Are you insane?
It's awful. It's awful.
Cody Rhodes is doing something with Stardust that Dustin Rhodes has done with Goldust for years, but better. Cody Rhodes is a freaking genius with his character. It's bringing characters back to relevancy when they haven't been relevant since The Undertaker and Kane. I want to see these stay together for a while, and then I want to see them split up. Stardust can't go anywhere. Stardust is brilliant. The fact that his language can't make any sense is the best part of it. It's the best part of it because you never know what's going to come out of his mouth. And you can't do anything but laugh and say, this guy knows that he's supposed to be ridiculous and he's embracing it and loving it and just running with it. Cody Rhodes has taken what should have been a piece of crap and turned it into a piece of gold. And I love every single second.
Did that.
Yeah. Yeah, pun intended there. But I love every bit of it. And I think you're completely wrong.
Oh boy.
Yeah. And I think we know where all these things now as well.
You don't, Aaron. Are you telling me that you don't dress up as Stardust when you sleep, or like you don't have like Stardust pajamas?
No, I don't. Sorry to break it to you.
Oh yeah, you wear the Hawaiian shirts and the hat, don't you? And the rocking chair.
Yeah, 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 and the leather thumbing. Go ahead. Your thoughts on this match and Stardust and Goldust.
Oh, I forgot to give a winner, didn't I? But I'll let Ollie go, and then I'll give a winner.
No, it's okay. Go on, finish your point.
No, it just the winner of the match has got to be Stardust and Goldust. They just won the titles, so you can't take it off of them that quickly.
Yeah, I think this is the easiest match to predict. I don't see the Usos getting their gold back, even though WWE are kind of insistent on keeping them looking strong, which is fine because they're a good team. I think Stardust and Goldust will retain the belts. I think they should retain the belts, and I'm thinking that eventually they'll be feuding with the Ascension when the Ascension come up. I think they're just sort of preparing for the. I think what's happening at the moment is WWE preparing for the Ascension to make their kind of rise to the main stage, and then we'll have Goldust and Stardust separate and feud with each other, leading into WrestleMania 31. I think that's my prediction for what's going to happen with those two. But as far as the pay-per-view goes, it's a dead set. They're going to defend their belts and they're going to retain them. So yeah, I wouldn't expect the Usos to win. Definitely not.
Yeah, I 100% agree with everything you said. That's what I think is happening too with the tag division.
Well, I'm just picking the Usos because I just hate the gimmick of Stardust and Goldust, so I'm gonna go with the Usos. Um, let's just move on because I can't deal with this. Um, let's move on to main event. The I guess the double main event that they're trying to sell us on. Randy Orton versus John Cena inside Hell in a Cell. Um, 355 times in a lifetime. This is just another John Cena versus Orton match. You know, and a lot of people have been complaining about it and saying, once again, we're going to get Orton and Cena. And a lot of people are enraged that this might close the show. Um, I hope it doesn't close the show. I think if it does, that really just shows what WWE's mindset is as far as just saying that we're just gonna not commit to the future, and I think having Rollins close this show would show a lot of courage and a lot of bravery from WWE management saying we believe in these two guys, we believe in these two young in their main event careers, and we're gonna put them in it. We're gonna put them in Hell in the Cell, and they're gonna be our main event, our big main event match. And I think if Cena and Orton close this show, it really just shows that they don't have any faith in our guys that are coming up slowly. As far as this match goes, Cena and Orton, I think Randy Orton will come out victorious, but obviously not in a clean way. I think the Authority get involved. I think Cena loses and Orton finds a way to win. And I think, well, I said earlier that I have a Randy Orton article coming out later today or tomorrow.
Don't publish it.
I think he has to turn babyface, and I think a babyface run for Orton is a logical step for him. And I think a match between him and Brock Lesnar is the next logical step for them as far as the world title goes. So I'm gonna go for your prediction.
My prediction, I think, I think we're going to see Ambrose. As far as the double main events go, I think we're going to see Ambrose and Orton get the victories. I actually think Randy Orton's going to be the one to face Brock Lesnar only because we've seen Cena Lesnar a few times now. We've seen that 4 or 5 times before, and we haven't seen Lesnar or Orton. And I think Orton wants that match. I think that's the only match I'll be interested in seeing of his. So I'm going for a Randy Orton victory over Cena, and I think Ambrose, after all the months kind of chasing Rollins, this is now the time for him to finally beat Rollins and maybe set up some kind of showdown or Survivor Series between the two. I don't think Rollins should beat Ambrose at Hell in a Cell because it would be kind of building it up, and then you keep having Ambrose lose out, and I just don't think it makes for very good kind of television. So for me, Ambrose and Randy Orton are the safe bets for Hell in a Cell. But those two predictions could both easily be wrong. You know what it's like. Cena could easily win, and so could Rollins. So, I mean, who knows? I mean, what do you two predict?
Well, for me, everything you said is right. Everything Boogie said is right. But the thing is, Cena has to go over Orton because Orton is turning face. You're not going to have Orton win here with the help of the Authority because he's sort of begrudgingly getting away from what the authority's doing. He's sort of upset that Rollins is the authority's golden boy now, and it is building toward a face turn. And the only way that Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar will be relevant is to have Randy Orton be the face in the situation against the guy that's the part-time champion. So, with that being said, it has to be a case where John Cena goes on to face Brock Lesnar for a third match in the trilogy, and that's the only reason that we're seeing this match for the 300 million billionth time, I think, is to move Orton in a different direction, close the chapter on Cena Lesnar at the Rumble, and then let Cena move on to possibly Rusev, possibly Ambrose at WrestleMania. And as far as Ambrose and Rollins, Ambrose should win it, but I think Ambrose might lose it because they're trying to keep Rollins, as the guy that with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and I think eventually he might have to have another match between the two, one more match between the two for the Money in the Bank briefcase being on the line. You could do it with either one of them winning, but my instincts, my gut are just telling me they're going to go with Rollins here. I don't think that's the right call, though, so I'm going to say Ambrose wins just because that's what I want to see. But I wouldn't be surprised if Rollins wins.
I think it's. I could see Rollins winning. I could see them easily having Rollins win and then have one more match at TLC for the briefcase. Putting it in a ladder match. I could easily see that. But I'm kind of with Oliver where I think they have to have Ambrose win this match because he, especially after the rub he got from Mick Foley on Raw, you're kind of selling Ambrose as this lunatic and this guy that hell is his home. That's where he can be himself and he can really take over a match. And I think having him lose in that, you could have him lose and have him look strong. Have him really beat down Rollins, really get maybe even bloody if they decide to go that route. I doubt they go that route, but have him just really get torn apart and then have Ambrose lose in some kind of fluky way. You could easily see that as well. But I'm with Oliver as far as having Orton and Ambrose win. I see Orton and Rollins winning. I don't see Cena and Ambrose winning. So I don't. I think the double main event is interesting. I think about no world title being at this pay-per-view. Need to kind of get over it because the double main event is just as fine without a title. So we'll see what happens, but I just hope Ambrose and Rollins close the show. That's my biggest thing.
Yeah, Ambrose and Rollins have to close the show, without a doubt, because if they don't, it derails everything, the progress that both guys have made, particularly, well, no, I can't even say that. The progress that both guys have made and the relevancy of both guys for the future. So, you can't have a main event of a match you've seen 500 gazillion billion times before.
Yeah. All right, let's wrap up here. Let's
hold on. I want to hear about
before we go.
I want to hear about Raz. I want you to tell us about Frankie because I don't know anything about her.
I'm not gonna do that on the air, bro. I'll talk about that off the air. It's just a friend of mine that I'm spending time with. But yeah, I think we've said everything that could be said here. The one thought that I had from a discussion we were having earlier, though, is about the women's division and making it believable when these girls come up. Would an interesting way to do that, in your opinion, be? Because in my opinion, it would be a women's tag division. Have girls like Charlotte and Bayley team up. Have girls like Sasha and Becky Lynch team up, to show how good these girls are, and that the women's tag division can be something completely different from the women's single division, so that when they're ready to push these younger girls to the title, people believe that they're that good in the ring.
I wouldn't be completely opposed to that. I mean, I don't know how much that would really help because I think you can do all you want with the Divas division. You can plug in titles, you can do all this, but it comes down to them caring enough about the Divas division to put it in a premier spot on Raw or SmackDown or a pay per view. They just don't. I just don't see them caring enough about it. That's the thing. I think they can do whatever. They can plug in a title here or make a tag team division. I'd be all for that. But I just don't know if they care enough to make those mean something.
Yeah, yeah, that is the thing. Holly, what do you think? Do you think that would be an answer for believability with these young girls coming up?
I was sorting out the charger to my laptop, so I didn't hear what Aaron said. Sorry, I had my earphone out.
Well, no,
What was his?
Aaron
Summarize the
was.
point,
Well,
Alan.
I don't really see.
Oh, go ahead, Aaron.
Well, I was saying that I don't really see a point in having titles because WWE doesn't really just care enough about the team to even put it in a place to succeed. So I don't really see why adding titles help any situation with the Divas.
Well, that's a shame because growing up, I used to love the titles. I used to be really interested in the titles. Titles to me have always been really important. Even mid card, like remember the days when you had a cruiserweight championship and a hardcore championship, and you had two tag team title belts for each brand. And I really enjoyed those times, and I liked the amount of titles there were. The problem is that when you don't take them seriously and you don't build them up, they lose meaning, and then people lose interest in them. So you either have to get rid of them or build or put heavy emphasis on them. And I don't think WWE are going to put heavy emphasis on them because they care too much about their main event guys. They're the Super Six, the six they put effort into, and everybody else is floats around like Casper. So honestly, at this point, I just think that titles are irrelevant, and that's sad because it shouldn't be like that. It's like in boxing. I mean, obviously boxing is different to wrestling, but I suppose they're similar in a couple of ways. Imagine if titles were irrelevant in boxing, nobody would watch. Titles are everything in boxing because obviously, fans are interested in who's the champion. That's the most important thing, and that works with most sports. But the unfortunate thing is that WWE don't give us reason to care about the belts anymore, and like I said, that's a shame because I grew up loving the belts. I was always interested in who was the champion, and for me, that was what wrestling was about, championships when I was young. So yeah, I agree. I think it's kind of sad though.
Yeah, well, Ollie,
Yeah.
I think you missed what the actual point of his discussion was, although everything you said about titles is completely true. But what I was asking was, is this a rare case where you actually need more titles brought in for the women's division on the main roster? Do these young girls need to team up so that when you make that change in culture, switching over to divas that can actually wrestle, the fans would have believability for when they were going after the singles title?
I don't think so. No, I think you don't. I don't think you need any more championships in the Divas division. The only problem is with me. I really hate the fact that Divas are called Divas. Why aren't they just called women? Or why is the championship called the Divas Championship and not the Women's Championship?
Yeah,
I
I
hate that.
100% agree with that.
It's awful. For me, I would change. I would make it. I would bring back some kind of air of legitimacy about the division. Make it the women's division, the women's championship, like it was years ago. And all of a sudden, I think just in doing that, I think people would care about it a little more because on paper, diva in a competitive environment, that's not interesting. It's not in a ring, a diva. It just doesn't sound right. So, I mean, that's all I really have to kind of say on as far as the women's division goes. But I don't think they need to add more belts. I think it would become kind of distorted, and people would become kind of confused, especially with the lack of storyline building and around each diva. So I don't necessarily think adding more belts to the equation would be the right answer. I think changing existing methods would be better.
Yeah, well, I was saying
I think that was my. that was my point on the fact I don't see adding belts would do anything to help because they just don't care about the WWE doesn't care about the divas in general. So just adding titles, I don't see really the point in making it. I don't see how that would help anything. In a sense.
Yeah, well, you guys are right. I was just saying maybe this is a way of changing that culture. But you're right.
Yeah, yeah. All right. I think that's about it. I think we've gone about an hour long. Uh, let's Oliver, let's go to you. Anything to plug or anything you want to talk about before we wrap up?
I have an article about the Rock coming out on ProWrestlingPowerhouse.com, and I also have obviously Twitter. My Twitter at Oliver NORGROVE. That's all I have to plug really.
All right, Raz, anything to plug?
Well, like I said, my writing situation is unfortunately what it is, but just keep it locked right here to the PWP TV YouTube channel because that's where you're going to see me contribute until I get my computer situation power, handling deal sorted. So I'm gonna have a couple of WWE shop unboxings coming. I'm gonna do some opinion-based stuff like outside of the roundtable. So stay tuned for that. For people that like the Razman's Reality brand and like the other stuff I talk to outside of professional wrestling, because you have professional wrestling over there, but you also have the entertainment culture with film and television over there. The audio version of the show is now back on epicgamerradio.com, all one word, with double R's. And it's every Thursday at 4 p.m. Eastern, so keep an eye out for that because I'm probably going to have some of these guys on as time goes on. So yeah, I'm still doing everything I can do. It's just I have to do it all on video and audio right now just because of the situation I'm in. So I'm not going
All
anywhere.
right.
Basically, oh yeah,
All right.
and at Razman's Reality on Twitter. So
All right. Cool. You can follow me on Twitter at underscore PWP. Aaron spelled ERON as you can see right here.
Can we
Right
go
here.
back off the air after this?
Yeah. All right. Yeah, you can follow me there. Of course, go to ProWrestlingPowerhouse.com. Follow Pro Wrestling Powerhouse on Twitter at team underscore PWP. Go to CoolWrestlingNews.com. I have a startup that me and PWP owner and founder Jay Leto, where it's just like any other news site, just like WrestleZone, Wrestling News Source, Ringside News, anything like. You can go find all that stuff at CoolWrestlingNews.com. And you can follow CoolWrestlingNews.com at CoolWrestleNews. And also, sadly, Joel O'Brien could not be here tonight, my co-editor, and he was going to do his show, Wrestling Week, that was last weekend. He had some technical difficulties. He was going to announce that I will be joining him every other week on that show, so it's going to be a two-man show now, Wrestling Week that was. So we kind of he was going to announce it on his show. Of course, he couldn't do it. So I guess announce it for. So look out for that next week, not this upcoming weekend. Next weekend, we'll be doing a Wrestling Week that was, and it'll be a two-man show from now on, which is pretty cool. So for myself, Raz, Oliver, thank you for joining us tonight, and please go to ProWrestlingPowerhouse.com. Thank you.